in the coming hours to begin the processes. It includes the Deputy Attorney General, Joseph Benka, who will speak to us shortly. Before we get into those details, though, the police has a statement that confirms the arrest, and my colleague Elton Brobe has those details. Elton.
So, Evans, the statement says that on Wednesday, January 9, 2019, the Ghana Police Service confirmed reports that an arrest warrant has been issued for the Chief Executive Officer of Men's Gold Limited, Mr. Nana Appiah Mensah, aka NSAWAM, and 2 other directors of the company on charges of defrauding by false pretenses. This followed reports by customers of the company to that effect. Now, this is what the police have done so far. The same day, an Interpol alert was triggered to facilitate a search for him globally. Now, on Sunday, January 13th, Ghanaian officials in Dubai were informed by an Emirati official that they had already arrested NSAWAM as at December 7, 2018. His arrest in Dubai is to facilitate investigation in suspicion that he had been involved in a gold trading deal gone bad within the Emirati jurisdiction. Ghanaian officials have visited NSAWAM in the custody of Dubai police. And the fifth point is that engagement with Dubai authorities on the next steps have commenced, and the police administration assures the public that due process will be followed. And this is signed by Evans David Ekulu, Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of Public Affairs.
So that's a statement that came in from the police just like an hour ago, confirming his arrest on December 7th. Is currently behind bars, and we are learning of a government delegation that has been dispatched. It's going to be dispatched. In fact, we are learning in the next few hours that delegation. And the delegation, as far as our information is concerned, includes the deputy Attorney General, Joseph Benka. Also includes a rep from IOCO, a rep from the BNI and the police. A few things, though, that I also imagine tonight, that as a country, we do not have an extradition treaty with. This is why we're seeing the delegation that is heading to Dubai to begin the processes, as we've learned. But the story has unfolded, and there's far more that we are also beginning to learn. Initially, it was reported that he was arrested on December 4th. As you've seen, the statement confirms it's December 7th. Be that as may, it still means that he's been behind bars for a while. Questions are emerging about how come we did not know this until only recently. We've also had sources indicate that in 2016, an unnamed official of the Economic and Organized Crimes Office, this is information that had been out there this morning, had recommended men's gold to officials of Horizon Royal Diamonds for the supply of huge quantities of gold. Now, that recommendation came because, according to the sources, the Dubai company had been duped by some Ghanaians previously. Now, Horizon Royal Diamonds and men's gold duly established contact, however, before the deal could be struck. And all this goes to why he was arrested recently. Persons privy to the discussions presented themselves to Horizon Royal Diamonds with the promise of a better deal, to which officials of Dubai-based company fell for. Now, we understand that it turned out that Horizon Royal Diamonds alleged later that it parted with no less than $51 million, for which no gold whatsoever was supplied. Officials of Horizon Royal Diamonds later reverted to Men's Gold and Appiah Mensah in 2018 to supply them the gold, upon which request he is said to have demanded an undertaking not to be linked to the transaction with Just Gold Limited. We're working to get official government sources. Information Minister will join us shortly. We're also working to see if we can get the Deputy Attorney General to join us very shortly on this. What I just narrated, and in a lot of these details you find in the graphic story of today, it appears that he had traveled to Dubai to try and close his deal to get the monies, because Men's Gold had done the business, upon which reports were filed and he was picked up. So it may well be that the Dubai authorities will let him go, will release him on bail at least. But the point is, our government wants to be in a position where we can take custody of him if that happens. Let's speak to security analyst and chief executive of the Security Warehouse Limited, Adams Bonner, who joins us on the telephone line right now. Mr. Bonner, thank you for your time here on Top Story. We're learning that one of the challenges we'll face is that we do not have, as of now, an extradition treaty with Dubai. That is going to complicate matters even further, will it not?
Yes, it's going to. Thank you for having me. Good evening to your cherished listeners. Yes, obviously it's going to complicate matters, to that extent. You realize that the Emirates or Dubai, some minor, little offense, you commit a little offense and you could go to jail for sometimes drinking. If you are found drinking openly, you could go to jail. So an offense as probably defrauding and maybe scamming people in Dubai, I believe will carry a lot of weight. And so I'm wondering if they would be ready to relinquish him. The fact that they are going to release him on bail doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to give him his international passport to leave the jurisdiction of the Emirates. And so that is where issues are going to be complicated. But I want to believe that government to government level, everything is possible. We have very friendly relationship with the Emirates or Dubai. And so as far as I'm concerned, I believe that if that is elevated to the point where the Emirates believe that the security of this country is under threat, and therefore because there are probably several thousands or millions of people who would take the laws into their own country if this man is not brought here, they might overlook their own issue and say, you know what, let's give him to Ghanaian authorities so that he goes home to face the law in back home. And so it's going to be dicey. Fortunately, it's a Monday. And so we are going to have a packed NAM1 Monday to Friday discussions, events.
And from what we're hearing, the delegation that is leaving the shores of this country in the next few hours, of course, includes Yoko reps, police, BNI, and the Attorney General's office. The Deputy Attorney General Joseph Benka will be part of that. And from what I understand, because of the lack of extradition treaty with Dubai, we're working with our mission in Abu Dhabi and our consulate in Dubai through the Foreign Affairs to try and trigger those processes. And from what I understand, a lot will depend on the act, our local extradition act that is going to will be looked into, whether or not the authorities there and will like to prosecute him in that country. That if that is what was going to happen, then that becomes a bit dicey. But as you've indicated, there is, however, a question about how, because it all, from the statement we got from the police, is clear that we did not know that he had been arrested. One, he had been arrested on the 7th of December. Two, that he had even left the country in the first place. How is that possible? I thought we should have records of, if you're leaving this country, there must be a record of that port from which you exited.
Yes, I raised this issue a couple of days ago, I believe last week, how he left this country, how complicit Yoko is in this whole thing. And so for me, for someone who was involved in such an offense, suspected offense, and Yoko, after getting the docket from SEC, the Exchange Commission, alleging that there is some amount of money laundering, which is a serious offense, not just in Ghana. Then he's given, self-recognizance bail, which says that you can just sign your own bail bond. You don't have to post any surety and go home and report. And the guy vanished, and we never got to know until there was an agitation and the police went into their records and realized that there was no report of any fraud against NAM1, and so they couldn't have arrested him. And so the council, I think, for Men's Gold had to now file a complaint of fraud of a sort before the police could go to court and get a warrant for his arrest. And so for me, this whole thing looks murky, and I'm hoping that we, as they are heading to Dubai, they will do the needful and make sure that this guy is extradited. We can have a government-to-government, one-off treaty with them to get him back home to face the law. Worst case scenario, I believe he can be tried in absentia, where they try him there. If he does 10 years and he has to be tried in absentia, and they give him 20 years here. The day he lands in Kotoka, they whisk him with a court warrant to NSAWAM to start his sentence in Ghana. I mean, so these are the scenarios we should be looking at.
Is it possible, Mr. Bona, for anybody to leave the shores of the country? And I'm assuming he would have taken a plane or, at best, use a ship. I mean, there's no report that he stole himself away, smuggled himself out of this country to unapproved borders, and that we don't have records of when he left the country. We didn't know where he said, because when you're leaving, when you're traveling, you get to the airport, you get the form, you fill, you tell them where you're going.
The departure
exactly. And I wonder what they do with that information, because if that information was kept and stored, if you should be able to click a button in a system that should produce the name of Appiah Mensah, when he left and where he said he was going. And it appears from the statement from the police that we were absolutely blind on that.
Well, the other issue has to do with when his leased jet also left the airport where it was parked. We need to verify when did the leased jet leave Ghana, because I'm aware and other people would have seen the jet parked at the airport. And so when did that aircraft, the jet, leave? Did it leave at the same time when he left? Because I am reliably informed from close sources that they put him on the watch list at the Kotoka International Airport. And therefore, if he was on the watch list at the Kotoka International Airport, one can definitely say that once he's exiting, he would be picked up. He would be stopped from traveling. And so as to where he finally boarded the plane to leave this country, we are yet to know. But Evans, let's not forget, it's just Namwan who is suspected to be in custody in Dubai. But with the wife and then the sister are directors of the company, and the warrant did say, it was explicit, that the two of them must also be brought back here. So whilst we are discussing Namwan, let's not lose sight of the fact that the sister and the wife are also, currently we don't know where they are. They are at large, and our authorities, whilst they are heading to Dubai, when they eventually, get hold of him, if they will release him for hours for them to interrogate him, they should note this and say, Ghanaians want to know where his wife and then the sister are, because they're directors and they are complicit, and there's a court warrant for the two of them. They are arrested as well. And so probably they would be within the territory of into one of those countries where we have treaties, so that those two can be extradited back to Ghana quickly. They can tell us which of the properties we can sell, where the money is. Have they dug somewhere, put the money there? We need to know. Because for me, it is not about his prosecution. It's about making sure that the customers get their money. Once the customers get their money, then probably the government can decide that you did something fraudulent, so prosecute you against the state. And so, Evan, for me, this issue is still evolving, very fluid, even.
Yeah, and hold the line for me. If you're just joining us, news we're getting tonight is that there's a high-level delegation set to leave Ghana in the next few hours to Dubai. It's going to include his Deputy Attorney General, Joseph Prenka, and reps from IOCO, BNI, and the police. They're going to Dubai to start the conversations with their counterparts in the United Arab Emirates, in essence, trigger the extradition processes, because we do not have an extradition treaty with the United Arab Emirates, and so that becomes a diplomatic effort now to trying to convince them to hand him over to us. And even there's a complication that needs to be unraveled. I just been joined on the telephone line by the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament, Samuel Kudutu-Ablakwa, who has a statement out on this. Mr. Ablakwa, thank you for your time here on Top Story. On Top Story.
Hi, thank you, Eva.
You have said in the statement I've seen, you're calling for a bipartisan inquiry into Meng's Gold. But before we delve into those specifics, what's your understanding as a foreign affairs spokesperson for the minority and the ranking member on the committee? What's your understanding of our relationship with the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, when it comes to the extradition treaty? How will this work now we know we don't have that with them?
Hi, good evening, Evans, and good evening to Doc on the other side of the line and to our distinguished listeners. I've been following this matter closely, and I have read the statement which just came in from the Ghana Police Service, and I noticed that the police service chose their words very carefully. If you look at paragraph 5 of the statement, they said that engagements with Dubai authorities on the next steps have commenced, and the police administration assures the public that due process will be followed. So they use engagements. They do not use extradition. It does appear to me that we may have an opportunity under the Mutual Legal Assistance Act, which was passed in 2010, Act 807. And if you look at the countries listed, the 163 countries listed in that act, the United Arab Emirates is in there, listed as 153. So under the Mutual Legal Assistance Act 2010, Act 807, our authorities can engage with the United Arab Emirates, and we can have an agreement to have him brought here. I do know that the matters are quite complicated because he's also wanted in that country. The authorities there will have to trust us that we will do a good job when we lay hands on him. And that is what brings me to raising similar concerns as your resource person has been raising. How Nana Appiah Mensah jumped bail, we are told. Initially, the impression was created that he was wanted by the CID. The police CID issued a statement subsequently that they were not looking for him. Then we discovered that it was Yoko. Now, my checks and what I have always known, having served in government before, how Yoko works is that they know that people can jump bail. And so as soon as you come under their radar, you are being investigated, they will immediately, one of the first things they do is that they will seize your passport. Why didn't that happen in the case of Nana Appiah Mensah? If it did happen, is it the case that he had connections to quickly procure another passport? And somebody who was on the watch list, are we saying that he could just jet out of this country, escaping? So all of these facts are going to affect the negotiations because the Emirati authorities will want to be sure that they can trust government officials. And unfortunately, so far, the conduct of state agencies and government officials in this matter have not, as it were, created a confidence that we will all need, that we will all want to see. We talk to many Ghanaians. That confidence is not there. Let's look at even the specific matter of his arrest in Dubai. Per the police statement, Nana Appiah Mensah was arrested on the 7th of December, we are told. Now, it was not until the 9th of January that he was declared wanted in Ghana. So, at the time that Nana Appiah Mensah was arrested, he knew that he was not wanted in Ghana. So, what happens if you talk to those who work within the foreign service circles? They'll tell you that when Ghanaians are arrested, and it happens with other nationals as well, they reach out to our consular authorities for consular assistance. Nana Appiah Mensah did not know as at December 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th that he was wanted. unless somebody gave him a tip-off. Because at least for us in the public, we were told only on the 9th of January, more than a month after that he was wanted, or he's been declared wanted. So are we saying he didn't reach out to the Consular General in Dubai?
To that point, if you look at point 4 on the police statement, it says Ghanaian officials have visited NSAWAM in the custody of Dubai police. What they don't tell us is when that happened.
Correct, yes. But you can deduce that this must have happened after he was declared wanted on January 9th. Because if you knew he was in custody in Dubai or he has been arrested in Dubai, why did you then declare him wanted? Why did you tell us that you have triggered the processes with Interpol?
In fact, to that point,
that you wanted Interpol to help you to arrest him, or to find him.
Yeah.
So,
in fact, to that point,
if it is the case
point
that they knew,
confirms.
If they knew before January 9th, then it means that they were engaged in some deception.
No, but to that point, the police statement. The police statement confirms the point you just made, because it says on Sunday, January 13, Ghanaian officials in Dubai were informed by the Emirati officials that they had already arrested them, and so we only got to know January 13th. So it follows from what you say that our visit would have been either on that day or after that day.
And so many fundamental questions arise. How he left Ghana, now how he arrived in Dubai, and between the 7th of December when he was picked up until January 13th, we're saying that because we have presence in Dubai. It would have been a different matter if we didn't have a diplomatic presence. We have diplomatic presence in Dubai.
Is it automatic, knowing what you know with the Foreign Affairs Committee, that once a Ghanaian is arrested in a foreign country, even he doesn't reach out, does the arresting country automatically reach out to the country of citizenship for this particular individual? It doesn't happen automatically?
From what I do know, I would not use the word automatic.
Okay.
But the convention has been that they reach out. Once the nationality of the suspect is ascertained, they do reach out. That's the convention. That's the practice. And what also happens, of even before the authorities will reach out, is that the person arrested will immediately, because it's your right, you will immediately ask for consular assistance. And I'm saying that looking at the facts as has been presented, unless there is more we do not know, unless somebody had given him a tip-off within government that he was wanted by Ghanaian authorities, and so that made him not reach out to our Consular General in Dubai. If that is the case, let us know. But you see, all of these, the murkiness, the cloud, the whole uncertainty, and the mystery surrounding this whole thing, right from when he was being investigated all the way to when we are told he was declared wanted, the circumstances surrounding his leaving the country, is all the reason why I'm calling for an inquiry. Most preferably, a bipartisan parliamentary inquiry. And I'm referring to a serious one, not the farcical ones that have happened in recent times. Because elsewhere, every other country, recently in the United Kingdom, when previously issues were raised about Facebook, there was a bipartisan parliamentary inquiry in the House of Commons. Cambridge Analytica was in trouble. In the United States Congress, during the financial crisis, when Lehman Brothers collapsed and all of that. There's enormous precedents all over the world. Serious countries don't take these matters lightly, especially as lives are at stake. He has destroyed lives, people's life savings. The impact on the economy is not yet known. There is talk of over 1 million customers I mean, these are not matters that you leave to all of these, hazy and very, mysterious circumstances, and we just leave it hanging. And what we are doing now is to, unfortunately, descend into partisan politics. So you see a list has been put out, NDC people, then there's another list, NPP people. I mean, as usual, such a serious matter. Lives are at stake. Yeah. And then this is all we can do.
Yeah.
So we need a serious effort, a bipartisan inquiry, or a national inquiry. It can be a presidential commission kind of an inquiry. Serious effort to unravel this mystery, get to the bottom of the matters, and make sure that we get to know how this happened. How did he, operate and swindle so many people? If indeed it was a Ponzi scheme he was operating, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Was it a genuine business model, or was it a or was it a Ponzi scheme? All of these matters have to be determined. And how come he escaped tax authorities, escaped regulatory bodies, escaped the national security apparatus all these years? I mean, this matter has a national security dimension, and we told he jumped bail. That's also a controversial matter which has not fully been determined. Then he manages to escape this country on our blind side. Are we safe? So state institutions have been called to question their credibility, their images and status as we speak.
Yeah.
We cannot just leave these matters at this point. We need an inquiry into these matters.
And shortly, we're still working the phone lines. I'm grateful that you joined us, Samokudu Tablak. We're working the phone lines to see if we can get the Deputy Attorney General just to try and understand what the actual mission is to Dubai. All that we know from our sources is that this will be part of the process to have him extradited to Ghana. That's what the delegation is going to pursue. Very quickly, final word to you, Mr. Bona. You've heard the call by Samokudu Tablakwa for some sort of a serious inquiry into this. What do you want to see done now?
For me, yes, the serious inquiry, whether bipartisan inquiry, committee put together to investigate it, that's fine. But bottom line is that I think all customers of Men's Gold are looking for is for government to assist them to get the money. And so if only the inquiry or the bipartisan committee or inquisitorial committee that will be put together would try and get the money for the customers, I'm all for it. So for now, I want to believe that whatever committee that will be put in place won't be a committee that we are going to be told that let's wait for the committee to finish before monies are paid to customers who are waiting to be paid. And so for me, I hope it won't be another avenue to delay the process of ensuring that NAM1 tells all of us where the customers' monies are. For me,
that is a focus for you. I'm grateful that you joined us also on this, and we're still working to try and get understanding of the mission to try and deal with this and have him extradited. Still listen to Top Story on Joy 99.7 FM. Stay with us.